citizens for watching. The Edmond City Council is conducting a special meeting tonight to adopt changes to the last COVID-19 emergency declaration that we published on May 11th. This special meeting was officially posted last Thursday on May 28th. On last Friday, May 29th, the governor issued several executive orders implementing phase 3 that was effective starting today. Our purpose tonight is to consider bringing our proclamation in compliance with phase 3 of the Oklahoma Hours program, which stands for opening up and recovering safely. The purpose of this program is to restore Edmond's and Oklahoma's businesses, part of our economy and part of our community activities. We're doing a virtual meeting again tonight because of the national coronavirus emergency. We are using a Zoom application, and the city council members are not located in the city council building. I happen to be located in the mayor's office in the City First building, and the other council members are attending at home or at other places. Oklahoma statutes now permit public meetings like this city council meeting to be held remotely. The rules permit either an audio only or a visual and audio together. Our chambers have been closed. Should this meeting be interrupted and the city council members unable to participate because of a technical difficulty, then within 30 minutes of that time frame, when we stop transmitting, the meeting will be terminated and reconvene tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. Mr. Murdoch, are there any other comments that we need to make at the start of our meeting?
No, Mayor, I don't think so. We probably, if we can't reestablish connection this evening, we'll reconvene at 5:30 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much. I will now ask the city council members to introduce themselves and report where they're located. We will do the same for city staff after them. My name is Dan O'Neill. I'm the mayor, and this is, I'm located in the City First building. David?
David Chapman. I'm Ward 1 City Councilman, and I'm in Ward 1, downtown Edmond, at the Chapman House on the roof.
Okay. Chapman, Councilman Davis?
Darrell Davis, Ward 3 councilperson, in my house in Ward 3.
Okay. Nick?
Nick Massey, Mayor Pro Tem, Ward 4 City Councilman. I'm in my home in Hunters Creek.
Josh?
Josh Moore, Ward 2. I'm in my truck at Fink Park.
All right. Larry,
about to get off work.
Larry, would you introduce yourself and tell the audience where you're at?
Larry Stevens, City Manager, and I am in an office in the City First building.
Okay. Mr. Murdoch, would you tell us who's sitting with you?
Yes, Steve Murdoch and Cindy Covell, City Clerk, here in the conference room in the City First building.
Mr. Murdoch is our city attorney. Okay. Our Director for Emergency Management, Matt. Okay, you have to unmute, Matt.
I was waiting for Casey to give me authorization. I don't think he trusts me. Matt Stillwell, Director of Emergency Management and Public Safety Communications, and I'm in my office in the Public Safety Building.
Thank you for being here. Casey, you want to tell us a little bit about where you're located and your role tonight?
Yes, sir. Casey Moore, Director of Marketing and Public Relations for the City of Edmond, tucked away in my office in the City First building. The only thing I would add is at the point when the mayor asks for any public comment, you can participate by using the raise hand feature. If you're in the Zoom meeting, click the participants tab and you can hit raise hand there. If you call in, you can raise your hand by hitting *9.
Thank you very much. We will open the discussion tonight with a report from our city manager regarding the status of the city services and get an update on what facilities and what community activities are currently in progress now that are different from a couple weeks ago. Mr. Stevens?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. We did have two larger events over the weekend in our community that seemed to go well, including a soccer tournament at the Blake Service Park and a baseball tournament at Hafer and Mitch Parks. And both of those activities seem to go well. There was also a lot of activity at Arcadia Lake over the weekend too. A reminder that the Pelican Bay Aquatic Center is scheduled to open this Saturday, June the 6th. And another item that we've talked about a few times is the possible splash pad opening. That's still on hold. We still have ongoing concerns with not being able to maintain effective social distancing, and also additional disinfecting requirements that would be needed. So we're not sure exactly what the future of that opening might be. Of course, we also had many other activities that reopened today, and we discussed those at last Monday's meeting. So with that, Mayor, that concludes my report.
Well, I know things were busy downtown, and I'm looking forward to the senior center. It was opened either today or tomorrow, and the library's been open, and the Edmond Museum, Historical Museum, has been open. So a lot of things opening up in our town. Any other questions for the city manager, council?
No.
Okay, thank you. Next, we will ask for a report from Matt Stillwell, our emergency management director, on the status of the virus throughout Oklahoma, and then particularly in Oklahoma County.
Sure.
Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. Things are moving in the direction we need them to move. We had our meeting with the health department Friday afternoon to look specifically at the gating criteria that's being utilized to justify the moving to new phases. We are very optimistic with those numbers. The numbers we saw at the end of last week were actually the best. The trends that we saw were the best that we've seen. There was a little bit of concern the Friday before, but things seem to have turned around. And my specific question to the health department regarding those numbers was whether or not they saw what I saw as far as being optimistic about the numbers, and they wholeheartedly agreed. So the gating criteria numbers that the health department's providing will continue to be provided. For those that are checking the state's website, they have removed the ability to look specifically at city and zip code information, and that's all as a result of the governor's emergency disaster declaration expiring on Sunday. Part of that declaration was the ability to provide that information at the local level. State law only allows the information to be provided at the county level, and since that order expired, we are now only receiving the information at the county level. We do have a request in with the governor's office to still receive some specific local information that will benefit our first responders. Those discussions are going on, and the legal team is working on that. So I don't know if the council or mayor, you have any questions? Be glad to field any if you do.
Well, particularly in those counties where you have the most susceptible for any kind of surge, I think it would be important for those officials to have that kind of information, because we are dealing with a situation where we have a lot higher incident rate in the county, in Tulsa and Oklahoma County, Cleveland County, and I guess Texas County now, in western Oklahoma, or the Panhandle. So it seems logical to have it there. If you have a small incident rate in your county out in western or eastern Oklahoma, there's no need for that information. But we are potentially at most likely, if there is a surge, it would be first in Oklahoma County, Cleveland County, or Tulsa. Anyway, just thought.
We certainly see a lot of value in that broken down information, Mayor, and we're doing everything that we can in order to move back to where we were to get that information on a regular basis.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions for Matt, council?
Matt, Darrell Davis here. Is there anything that we can do from the city? Do you need the city council to take any action or request any action for us to get in contact with the governor's office to get this information? That is critical, and we're still not through this period of time, and it would be nice if we could continue to receive that information.
Yes, if we need to leverage that, Councilman Davis, we'll certainly reach out to you. We're optimistic. I think this is one of these things where there's so much going on, and this is such an unusual circumstance. I don't think anybody really saw that this bit of information was going to be affected on Sunday. So we're optimistic that the information will come to us. It's just the steps that we need to go through legally in order to get that process back in place. But if we need you as a resource, we'll certainly reach out.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks, Matt.
Matt?
Any other questions?
Yeah,
I think I heard
Matt, are
Josh.
you, I would think that the school district would want it too, correct?
I'm not sure the school district was receiving, well, actually, they weren't receiving specific addresses, but they did have access to that zip code and city information, which I think would be valuable to them.
That would probably be another good resource for encouragement. All right, thanks very much. Any other questions, council? All right, thanks. Next, we'll ask Mr. Murdoch to advise us of what the governor's proclamation said last Friday, and also what your recommendations are for the city council to act on tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. It's been the pattern in the process of the city council since we first issued a declaration of emergency on March 18th. To continue to keep the council updated on every Monday night, and we've had meetings accordingly. As you know, we adopted the governor's Open Up and Recover Safely plan, and we have been following that diligently since that time. On Friday, May 29th, the governor announced that Oklahoma would proceed to phase 3 of the plan beginning today. Then on Saturday, the governor issued an executive order declaring a health emergency in the state and providing additional information regarding phase 3. So basically, the governor's executive order provides some general guidelines and details with regard to the phase 3. It indicates that unless otherwise addressed in the plan, adults over the age of 65 and people of any age who have serious underlying medical conditions, collectively referred to as vulnerable individuals, should stay in their homes or place of residence except for working in critical infrastructure sectors. Also, the governor's order indicates that unless otherwise specified in the plan, individuals should follow Centers for Disease Control guidelines for social distancing and gathering in groups, and that all businesses should adhere to the statewide Open Up and Recover plan as provided in the Oklahoma Department of Commerce website. There's some general details regarding in phase 3, which deal with hospital visitation and nursing home visitations, and so those are also included. So my recommendation, I sent a draft of the revised declaration to you earlier today, which basically just adopts the governor's executive order with regard to phase 3. But I continue to put some language in there, encouraging our residents to take extra measures to put a physical distance of 6 feet between themselves, and wear cloth facial coverage is appropriate in a public setting, and to continue to follow all the guidelines and resources and information available to the various state and federal agencies that are involved in this situation. So I would indicate that Oklahoma City did something very similar with regard to their proclamation, and they also indicated that they were going to reevaluate where they were on June 15th. So next Monday night, June 8th, we'll have our regular meeting. There'll be an item on the agenda for you to discuss the declaration if you so desire. On June 15th, we'll have our budget hearing, so we can also have an item on that agenda to discuss. So my suggestion that we might want to reevaluate this no later than June 15th to keep us consistent with where we've been in the past. And we may take a look at it. It's possible on June 15th that we may choose to extinguish any declarations of emergency and move on, but we'll see where we are on that.
So we are planning on putting that on as an agenda on our next council meeting on June 8th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay, good. So we have an opportunity to look at it.
Right. And we'll also do that on June 15th as the last item following our budget hearing. We have the ability to do that.
Right. Any other questions, council? Mr. Murdoch?
I'm assuming that the for industry specific recommendations that's still at the Department of Commerce. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir. Those guidelines are still on the Department of Commerce website related to certain businesses and guidelines with regard to that. Yes, sir.
Any other questions, council, for Mr. Murdoch?
No.
Do you see an end to the actual emergency, or do you see that continuing for a couple of months, a month? Mr. Murdoch?
I'm unsure, Mayor. I think it's possible that by the end of June, the emergency declarations that we've been using in the past may go away, but I don't know that. There'll be a lot of other factors that will take into place. But I think the continued vigilance of all our citizens will be necessary. Whether or not it'll be in the formation of a declaration of emergency or not, we'll have to see.
But we still have the stay at home for the vulnerables and the over 65 crowd. And that doesn't mean that you're quarantined. You have the ability to get out and drive around but minimize your contact with the crowds.
Mayor, I'd point out that the language in the declaration, in the governor's order with regard to those folks was changed from shall to should. And so now it's a should recommendation.
Okay.
So the governor's phase 3, is it 15 days or is it a month?
There's not been a time limit specifically identified that I can tell as of yet.
Okay.
All right. So we're good with June 8th on discussing it for the next time. Any other questions on council? You've had a chance to look at the proposed draft. The only thing I saw significant about stage phase 3 was the summer groups and summer camps and some of the larger activities associated with that. And apparently, I guess if they can figure out how to do it safely, they're wide open to take those kind of activities. I was really surprised to see the soccer and the baseball. That's good. That's good that we did that this weekend and had pretty good success at it. And that's summer. Summer's here for the kids if they have the soccer tournaments and if they have the baseball games going on. Any other questions, council?
My kids started day camp today at the Y, and they do have several rules in place. They have them in groups of 10 with one director or one teacher, if you will, and they have all kinds of cleaning and disinfecting, but they started camp today.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. It really is an important resource for our community. Any other questions, council?
Yes, I do have one question on page 4 of our declaration. It talks about previously approved special event permits for all events through June 30th are hereby revoked. And is that just being based on that there's still no guidance to open up completely 100%?
That's part of the guidance, but also, Mr. Davis, I believe, in case you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that we do not have any special events scheduled through the month of June.
That is correct, yes. There's nothing that is still planning to move forward.
Mayor, I'll also tell you, you may have seen this, that UCO made an announcement about opening the campus back up, and they made a bit of an announcement about fall, that they will not be having fall break. So that Thursday and Friday, I think it is, that will not be a break. The intention, I think, there is so that the students don't leave and then come back with something, that they would just stay. So
I understood that most of the teachers reported for duty today at the university. Is that true?
Yeah, let's go with that.
I talked to a lady that
It wasn't a parking problem.
It wasn't a parking problem. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because that's important. They're important part of our community, important part of our economy, and it's time to get the students back in school, shall we say. Anything else, council? Do we have a motion to approve the proclamation as drafted by our city attorney?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Cindy, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, can you tell me who seconded that?
Nick Massey did.
Okay, thank you. Council members Chapman,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill.
Yes. Thank you all very much, gentlemen. I understand we're going to try to have our next city council meeting on June 8th in our regular city council chambers. That's certainly a possibility. We're still have options. Let us know if there's any concerns with that, but I think that's the direction that we're headed.
Yes, sir, we're prepared to do that next Monday night.
All right. Anything else for the best interests of the community?
Yeah, Mayor, if I could, I have a question I don't think it's going to get answered right now unless somebody really does know the answer, but I'm looking for some clarification on the CARES Act money that Oklahoma County received a month ago. It was $47 million. And really what I want to know is, was that for them to hold on to, and I don't know if that's the right word, but to them to choose what they do with it, or was it a federal idea for them to distribute it to Oklahoma County communities? I'm just looking for clarification.
Josh, we don't know the answer exactly to that. I think they're still working through that. We don't have any information at this point.
So the federal, are we saying that the federal government gave Oklahoma County this money without any direction?
No, Josh, I don't know. They didn't give the money to us. And at this point, we're waiting to see what the direction from the county is. So they're still trying to sort through what that might mean in terms of if it might mean some additional money for Edmond, we're not sure.
Well, appreciate knowing more about that, or maybe ACOG would know something a little bit more about it too. Are they involved in the process?
Well, I think everybody's trying to figure out on all grant funding, how it shakes out, who's involved with it and what it might mean. But we don't have any direct information on the money that the county received at this point.
I'm just still confused why Washington would give them the money and not have any directions with it.
Well, I'm sure there's some direction. I just don't think we know at this point what that is.
Any other questions, council? Very, very well. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
If you're all in favor of adjourning, just say aye.
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 Anybody a no? Very well. Thank you all very much. This meeting is adjourned.